Hey friends, I hope you're doing really well. In today's video, you will learn how you can make your own super cute videos on your iPad or iPhone. I'm going to show you my exact process for creating Insta Reels, TikToks and YouTube videos, all the way from start to end, including little title animations that make the videos extra cute. This is going to be quite an in-depth tutorial, and what I'm going to show you will work on iPads or iPhones that run on iOS or iPadOS 15 or later. We're going to use two apps for this. The first one is called LumaFusion, which has just won the iPad App of the Year award by Apple. And then the second app is going to be Procreate. All right, let's start LumaFusion and let me show you how this works. The project that we are going to work on is an Insta Reel or a TikTok video. It's going to be 1 minute in length, and I'm going to show you step by step how I'm going to add these little embellishments. You see there's a little wiggle animation to start with, and then there's also these captions that come in and then they go out again, and little screen overlays, and then also how you can speed up your video and how you can make it extra engaging. We're going to start with a new project, and in order to do that, you tap on the button here in the bottom left corner. That brings up your project selection screen here, and then tap on the plus to create a new project. And of course, we're going to give this a name, and we're going to call it Background Gradient, so that we remember what this was for. And then on the menu here below, the only thing we want to change is the aspect ratio, and you want to select 9:16 portrait because this is the format for Insta Reels, TikToks and also YouTube Shorts. So we're going to select this and then tap on the plus to create a new project. So now we're starting with a blank canvas, and the first thing we need to do is select our video. You have various options from where you want to get the video from. So you tap on the icon here in the top left corner, and it brings up all your different sources, so you can choose from photos or files, or you can also import your videos from different cloud storage solutions such as Dropbox or Google Drive. All my files are sitting in iCloud, so I'm tapping on Files, and I've got a shortcut to my videos folder here, so I can tap here. So there's a number of different videos in here, and so now I can preview the video by tapping on it, and then I can just check whether this is the video I want. So now we can drag this into our timeline here, and here's the video. And then what you can do, which is quite nice, you can rearrange the panels on the screen a little bit. There's a little dragging handle here, so we can minimize the files because we don't really need to see them, and then we can also drag this up and down so that we can see the editing panel and then also the preview. So now the first thing you will notice is that my video is actually upside down, and this is because of my video setup in my studio. So the first thing we want to do is change this, and in order to do that, we're going to tap the edit button here. So now this is going to bring us into the edit screen, and then what you want to do is tap on the first icon here on the left, which is frame and fit. The easiest way to change it is to tap on the edit and then 180 degrees, and now it's facing the right direction. So now you can see it's not 100% perfectly straight, but I don't mind it too much. Maybe we can make it even a little bit more on an angle like this. And then it just looks a little bit more authentic, and I don't mind this too much. And then the next thing you'll notice is that the video is quite dull. So we want to brighten this up a little bit. And in order to do that, we're going to select the color and effects button here. And you'll see that there's a number of different color presets. And the one I prefer is called Shadow Up, so we just tap on that, and voila, now it looks much better. So now what we want to do is select a section where there's a lot of colors on the screen so that we can brighten up the section a little bit as well. And in order to do that, we can adjust these level sliders. And now this brings up the beautiful colors of our gradient background. All right, so now I'm happy with this. So this is the first step done, and you definitely want to do this at the start, because once we start cutting up the video, it's going to make it much harder to apply settings to all the different clips. And then another thing you might want to do right at the start is trim the start and the end of things that you don't want. Maybe you had to start twice. I sometimes have to start a few times, and so it's definitely handy to do that right at the start. And so usually I like to start with the first tap on the screen, which is right here. And so now we can just tap on the scissors icon here at the bottom and create a cut, and then we can delete the first part. So the way this works is you tap on the part to highlight it, and you can see it's got this white ring around it, and then you tap on delete, and then that gets rid of it. And then in order to select this part, now we tap on it, and then you can see that it's selected because it's got the white highlighter around it. One of the things that is really handy as well, you can zoom in or out of your timeline by just using the 2-finger pinch to zoom gesture, which is super handy, and it's just something that you probably use a lot in Procreate as well. So this is the same gesture, which is very handy. And then we're going to do the same thing at the end as well. And then another thing I recommend you do at the start is actually increase the speed of your video. This video here is now 2 minutes and 24 seconds, but for an Insta Reel or a YouTube Shorts video, you can only have 1 minute. So now I recommend that you speed this up at the start again, because it makes it much easier to do everything at once. Otherwise you have to speed up individual clips, which makes it harder. So we're going to tap on our clip again, edit, and then you can see there is the speed and reverse panel here. And so now we're going to speed this up. I set it to 2.25x, which makes the video 1 minute and 4 seconds, and you can see that here. And this is probably a good time because there will be other parts that are going to come out of this video anyway. All right, so now we go back to our timeline, and so now this is looking good. Another thing I wanted to mention is that I very much recommend that you cut your video before you add any embellishments or titles or animations, just because cutting the video is the most tedious part of the whole process, and adding little animations is the fun part. So I recommend that you do the tedious part first and save yourself the fun parts for the end. All right, so now we're going to go through the video and we're just going to see little parts that we might want to cut out, especially when it's boring. Like for example here, you can see there's nothing happening for quite a while. So now we want to cut this out, and then we're just going to restart where the interesting thing happens again. All right, so I think it's looking good now, and you can see now we have trimmed it to 56 seconds, which is absolutely perfect. All right, so now for the fun part. The first thing we want to do is add our wiggle title to start with, and this is where that Procreate app is coming in. So now we're going to switch over to Procreate, and I'm going to show you how to create this animation. I've got a whole animations folder here on Procreate, and if you want to learn more about how to create animations in Procreate, I very much recommend that you watch my tutorial where I'm showing you how to make animated stickers. The process is exactly the same, but for the purpose of this is actually quite simple. So I'm going to show you how to do it right now. So we're going to create a new canvas, and the size we're going to choose is going to be 2160 pixels by 3840 pixels, which happens to be the size of our video. And then tap create. And then what I like to do first is turn on the drawing guide, and then we also need to turn on animation assist. The brush I'm going to use for this is the IPL iPad Lettering August 2020 brush. This is a cool watercolor brush and creates a really neat effect. But of course you can choose any brush that you like to use for this. So now we're going to write our title here, which is gradient background. And then on a new layer, we are going to write how to. I'm going to make this the background layer that I don't want to be animated. That's why I'm writing it on a new layer. And then we are going to move this to the bottom layer, and we are going to mark this as the background so that we can animate all the other layers but not this one. So now we're going to add a new frame, and now we're just going to trace gradient background a few times to create our wiggle animation. This doesn't have to be super precise. This is the actual point, and it makes it wiggle because it's not precise. So this is really, really easy to do, and it's a lot of fun as well. I make this for most of my videos because I think these are really cute and they are fun to make as well. All right, now let's see what this looks like. Oh, it's super fast. So now what we want to do is change that frame rate, and I think 5 is usually good setting. So we play this, and so now it wiggles really nicely, which is cute. So now you could do a third layer if you wanted to, or another trick you could use is duplicate that first and the second layer, and then you can increase the length of your animation a little bit. So now it doesn't look any different, but it will just animate for a little bit longer. And then the next thing is we want to turn off the background color because we want this to be a transparent animation. And then we're going to export this. You tap on share, and then you tap on animated HEVC. This is the format that we are going to choose because it supports the transparent background. So this is important. And then what you might want to do is export this to your Files app. And then we can go back to LumaFusion, and now we can choose our animation. So I've got my folder with animations here. So now we're going to drag this title into our timeline like this, and you can see now it's imported it and it's already shining through a little bit. So now we're going to select edit and then go to frame and fit. So now we can move this into place a little bit better. You can also resize it if you wanted to. Okay, then we go back and let's see now what this looks like. So now this is quite short. You see this only does one loop of animation. So what you might want to do is duplicate this, and you can tap on the duplicate button. So now what this does, it places the duplicate animation on top. So what we want to do is drag it next to the previous one. And so now let's see, now it's better. So now it wiggles the right amount of time. All right, so now the next thing we want to do is add our captions here, and we want them to sort of come in and then go out again. And so in order to do that, we need to create an overlay title. Tap on the plus icon here and then select overlay title. And you can see that we've got your text here. So we're going to edit this now. So we tap on the overlay title, and we don't want this to be 4 seconds. So I recommend that you change this first. Maybe make it 2 seconds. And then we can edit this, and then you see here there's the titles tab. So we double tap on our title, and now we can type the text for this. Okay, and then we want to left align this. We want to change the font, and the font I really like is called Happy New Day. So I'm going to select this. All right, and then it's still not visible. So what we need to do next is add a shape underneath. So tap on the plus here and then go to shape. And now it's added this white rectangle, which is not very useful, but we can change this. So we're going to change the face color first to make it black. And then we can move it up here and resize it, and it's still not visible. So now we need to drag this on top of our text. So now the text becomes visible and we have the black background. So now this looks good. And then also what you can do if you like is decrease the opacity of the shape background. I think it looks a little bit nice, especially if there's something in the background. If that shines through, it looks quite nice, and the text is still nicely readable as well. So now let's see what this looks like. We're going to start again. We have our wiggle animation, and then we have the caption come in here. But you see this is just a really harsh transition. So now let me show you how you can animate this a little bit. So we're going to go back to our edit menu, and we're going back to the frame and fit setting here. And so now what we need to do is add some keyframes. So we can tell the application when we want to bring in our label and when we want to move it again. The important keyframes we want to add is right at the beginning, and then after 0.05 seconds, you want the second one. I find this to be a really good time frame for the animation, but of course this is up to you. If you want a slightly slower transition, then you can increase this. And so what we need to do now is move the playhead all the way to the start, and now set the starting position of the animation. Go to size and position, and then use the position X slider to move the animation out. You want it to be just outside your viewing frame like this. And then you tap play, and you can see how it now animates the label into view, which is super cool. So now we're going to do the same thing at the end. Again, we're going to add a keyframe at the end, and then just a 1/5 of a second out, we are going to add another keyframe, and then we're going to go all the way to the end, and then move it back out like this. All right, so now let's view this again. So you want to do that before you start adding more captions, because we can reuse the settings, so we don't have to do the whole thing every time. The next thing we want to do is add some captions here over the top, because I'm showing how to create this noise background, and all the settings are a little bit small to see. So we're going to add captions here in the middle, and we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to add an overlay title, select text, and then double tap to edit your text. And so now we are going to type in clouds. And then we're going to add all the values here, and again change the font to the Happy New Day font. We can change the face color to white. And then you might also want to adjust the positioning here a little bit. Maybe it looks nice if we slightly adjust the rotation here. And so now we're going to do the same thing for the duration of our video. And remember that you don't need to start from scratch with your animations every time. You can duplicate this, and now we can bring this in line with where the glitch adjustment starts. And so we're going to go here and tap edit and then title, and instead of 1 use noise adjustment, we're going to tap into use glitch adjustment. And then what you want to do here as well is just want to make sure that the animation still works. So we're going to go here, and you want to make sure that it starts and ends roughly at the same place. like the other one did. And so this looks good. And so you can see how this is actually quite fast. So we've done one animation and then we can just copy and paste the second one. And so now we're just going to carry on all the way through the video, copying and pasting the animations that we would like. And it really doesn't take a lot of time because we've already got them all made. And so really all we have to do is copy and paste and then replace the values. All right, and then at the end, we might also want to create a little thank you for watching animation. And the process for this is exactly the same. We're going to go back to Procreate and we're going to write thank you for watching and then export this and put it into our project. Very cute. All right, so the next thing we need to do is add music. And this works exactly the same way as adding video. All you have to do is grab your audio file from wherever you've stored it on your iPad and then drag it onto the timeline. And you see here that there is a different color for the audio tracks. The video tracks are blue and then the audio tracks are green. So this is really easy, so you know which one is which. And then we need to trim it at the end here. So what we can do now is add a little transition here at the end. And so we're going to go back to edit. And again, like we've done with our animations, we're going to add some keyframes here. So you want to add a keyframe all the way at the end, and then you want to add another one just shortly where you want to start the music to fade out, and tap the plus. And so now all we have to do at the last keyframe is decrease the gain, and you might want to put it up to maybe -27 is good, like this. Cool. And so of course now we need to export this video so that we can upload it to the different platforms. And in order to do that, you tap the button here, which is that share export screen, and you have different options of how to export this video, but of course we want to choose movie and then the movie destination. You can actually upload this directly to YouTube if you wanted to, but I recommend that you save this to your photos because it's the easiest, and then you can also use it for different apps at the same time. And then the export settings that I recommend is the resolution is 1152 by 2048 pixels, the 2K resolution. Of course, you could increase this as well. So if you wanted to put it on YouTube, for example, 4K is always nice, especially if you have the 4K video resolution already, but 2K is fine for TikTok and Instagram. And then also that video quality here, it's got different options. So you can set this to different standards, and the 40 megabits per second is fine. You can see this also decreases the file size a little bit, which makes it faster to upload. And it's still good enough quality. And then all we have to do is tap export, and now it writes that movie. So now what happens is he puts all the different elements together and he puts the music on it and all our little animations. This normally doesn't take too long, but of course it depends on the length of your video. And now we can go to our Photos app and we can see the finished video. And there you have it. This is how I edit my videos. I really hope you found this video useful. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And then if you are more interested in learning how to do animations with Procreate, I'm going to put up this video right here so you can continue watching and learning how to create beautiful animations on your iPad. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.